The taste of childhood. There are memories that linger even after decades, etched deep within our hearts. For American children of the 1970s, childhood was never just about running freely in the yard, or sitting in front of a glowing television set, or swaying to the beat of disco. It was also hidden in the familiar flavors of everyday meals. It was the golden box of macaroni and cheese, steaming with the rich aroma of melted cheddar. It was the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, tucked neatly inside a plain brown lunch bag. It was the frozen TV dinner, slid into the oven, so the family could gather together in front of the screen, eating while Happy Days or the Brady Bunch played in the background. And, of course, it was the shimmering cubes of Jell-O, sparkling like tiny jewels beneath the kitchen light. Childhood also lived in the noisy school cafeteria, where laughter drifted above trays of sloppy joes, dripping with tangy, messy sauce, or in the glow of birthday candles, where pizza and cupcakes became the sweet centerpieces of celebration. Every dish, every flavor, did more than simply fill a stomach. It nourished memory, memories of a carefree youth, untouched by time. For those who grew up in America's 70s, just a mention of these foods can bring back the scent of a busy kitchen, the sight of plates set out with care, and the sound of children's laughter echoing as they gathered around the table. Food, for that generation, was never just food. It was a piece of a sweet, inseparable mosaic of memory that defined an entire era. Take macaroni and cheese, for example. A simple dish, yet a faithful companion to countless family evenings. Tear open the blue box, sprinkle the bright orange powder over steaming pasta, and suddenly, the whole kitchen filled with a creamy, comforting aroma. Children cheered as they scooped spoonfuls of golden macaroni, their eyes still glued to the flickering sitcoms on the TV. Each bite carried not just the taste of cheese, but the warmth and safety of home. Inside those modest lunch bags, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich was always waiting. 2 slices of soft bread, a layer of creamy peanut butter, a smear of strawberry jam. So simple, yet it became an icon of American childhood. Kids sat together on the schoolyard lawn, eating, laughing, sometimes trading bites. And each time the bag was opened, the familiar scent carried a silent promise. The school day would soon be over, and something sweet always awaited. When parents were pressed for time, dinner often came in the form of a TV dinner. A frozen tray with meat, mashed potatoes, vegetables, and a tiny dessert, heated in minutes. It felt modern, yet homely. A small luxury that let children sit with trays in their laps, in front of the family television. It quickly became a cultural hallmark of the 70s. At parties, or simply as dessert, Jell-O was always the star. Bright red, green, or yellow cubes trembled in the light like little gems. Children laughed as they dipped spoons into the cool, wobbly treat, letting its sweetness melt slowly on their tongues. In the crowded cafeteria, sloppy joes carried their own legend. A hot bun filled with ground beef and tangy tomato sauce. Messy, dripping, staining fingers and trays. But no one cared. The bold, hearty flavor was worth every stain. When families went out together, hamburgers and French fries from McDonald's or Burger King were the top choice. It wasn't only about eating fast. It was about experiencing something new. A sign of a changing era, as drive-thrus began weaving into everyday life. On rushed mornings, a child needed only to drop a Pop-Tart into the toaster. Crispy on the outside, gooey on the inside. Sometimes topped with sugary glaze. In just minutes, breakfast was ready, fueling the day ahead. Tucked inside those lunch bags, there were sometimes little treasures, Twinkies, or ding-dongs. Tear open the wrapper, and a soft sponge cake with creamy filling appeared. Tiny rewards that made an ordinary school lunch feel extraordinary. In the evenings, many kitchens carried the aroma of tuna casserole. Hot, hearty, rich. A dish tied to the image of parents who, no matter how busy they were, still made time to prepare a warm meal for their families. And of course, there was pizza. Whether pulled from the freezer, picked up from a neighborhood pizzeria, or delivered hot to the doorstep, pizza was always the centerpiece of birthdays and gatherings. The laughter, the gooey cheese stretching between slices, the simple joy of sharing, all of it became a part of childhood. If family meals brought warmth and comfort, then street snacks opened an entirely different world. Lively, colorful, full of wonder. A world where American kids of the 1970s could run, could play, could explore, and taste happiness in its simplest form. Step outside, wander through the neighborhood, and there it was. A paradise of aromas, laughter, and color. Every season, every late afternoon, every bright summer night, seemed stitched together with the flavors of childhood treats. First came popsicles, the true symbol of summer. On quiet streets, the jingling bell of the ice cream truck sent children racing out, coins clutched tight in their hands. One chose strawberry, another orange, another rainbow swirled. One bite, and the icy sweetness melted on the tongue, chasing away the heavy summer heat. It wasn't just a snack. It was joy. Fleeting, but unforgettable. Candy bars were impossible to resist. Found at every corner store. A Hershey's, a Snickers, a Milky Way. Each was more than chocolate. It was a universe of flavor wrapped in foil. Rich cocoa, chewy caramel, crunchy peanuts. And for a single coin, a child held an entire afternoon of delight. At fairs and carnivals, cotton candy lit up the night. Sugar spun into pastel clouds. Light as air, soft as a dream. Children strolled through the fairgrounds, pulling off tufts that melted instantly on their lips. Their laughter mingled with carousel music, a melody of joy that still lingers in memory. At baseball games, an American tradition, Pop Rocks and popcorn were as much a part of the moment as the game itself. Pop Rocks fizzed like tiny fireworks inside the mouth, thrilling every child. And popcorn, warm, salty, buttery, was the perfect companion for cool nights beneath stadium lights. Bubble gum was another staple. Bubble yum, the craze of the mid-70s, and the classic bazooka, weren't just for chewing. They were for contests. Who could blow the biggest bubble before it burst with a loud, sticky pop? Explosions were followed by laughter, gum clinging to noses and cheeks. Colorful wrappers were pressed flat and saved. Tiny treasures of growing up. At diners and fast food counters, milkshakes were every child's dream. Strawberry, vanilla, chocolate, topped with whipped cream. Sweet, cool indulgences. And if a faint disco tune drifted from a tabletop radio, it became the perfect snapshot of the 1970s. Hot dogs from street carts were everyday delights. For just a few coins, a warm bun, a juicy sausage, a squiggle of mustard, a handful of pickles. Sauce dripped, shirts got messy, but no one minded. The taste was all that mattered. Bags of potato chips, Lay's, or the new Pringles were staples in schoolyards, at family picnics, and TV nights. The crinkle of the bag alone drew kids closer, eager for salty, crispy slices that vanished far too quickly. And then came Halloween. No American childhood in the 1970s was complete without it. Streets glowed with jack-o'-lanterns as children shouted trick or treat, and candy poured into their bags. Reese's, Tootsie Rolls, candy corn, peppermints, gummies, chocolates. That night wasn't just about costumes. It was a treasure chest of sugar that could last for weeks. Sometimes, joy came from the simplest things. A cold soda at a corner diner, a pack of tangy sweet tarts that made faces pucker, or a lollipop that seemed to last forever. These snacks, humble as they were, painted a vivid portrait of youth. They weren't just flavors. They were the jingling bell of the ice cream truck, the laughter echoing at the fairground, the thrill of opening a Halloween bag. They were fragments of memory, waiting to carry anyone back to those innocent years. Looking back at American childhood in the 1970s, we see that memories were woven not only from games, music, and movies, but also from these everyday foods. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a hot slice of birthday pizza, a popsicle melting in the summer sun. Each one was a thread, tying memory to feeling, so that decades later, a single taste could send the heart straight back to childhood. For the children of that era, food was never just about hunger. It was excitement, anticipation, small gifts hidden in the rhythm, a family and a changing society. It was laughter in the schoolyard, the thrill of the ice cream truck, the glow of the television shared at night. Childhood eventually fades, but flavors remain. Those foods became the sweet fragments that completed the mosaic of memory for an entire generation. And perhaps, when you think back on your own childhood, you will find flavors waiting quietly for you too. Simple, familiar tastes, ready to call your name. They are memories, warmth, pieces of a childhood, both ordinary and radiant, so that whenever we look back, our hearts cannot help but stir with nostalgia. And maybe, when you think back on your own childhood, you'll realize those little tastes are still with you, quiet, simple, and full of warmth. If these stories bring back even a spark of memory, I'd love for you to join me here, so we can keep sharing moments like this together. Don't forget to subscribe, because there are so many more flavors of the past waiting just around the corner.